group of actions performed by an animal in response to some stimuli. There are three main types of animal behaviors: innate behaviors, social behaviors, or learned behaviors. So firstly, innate behaviors. Innate behavior जो है ये genetically determined behavior होता है. The animal is born with the ability to know what is to do. For example, nest building is common in the birds, and web spinning, which is also common in some insects, including some spiders. So this is their innate behaviors. Second one is social behavior. Social behavior is communication within social structures. Animals जो special chemicals secrete करते हैं which are known as pheromones to communicate with the members of their social organizations. For example, bees, they identify their hives and they defend it. They also use pheromones to attract their mates. The third one type is learning behavior. Learning behavior is obtained through practice or experience. Thorpe was an anthropologist. He classified learning behavior into 6 types: imprinting, habituation, conditioning or condition reflex type 1, operant conditioning or reflex type 2, latent learning or insight learning. So our main topic is conditioning. The process of training or accustoming a person to or animal to behave in a certain way or to accept certain circumstances is called conditioning. कंडीशनिंग के लिए एक और वर्ड यूज़ होता है लर्निंग. बेसिकली कंडीशनिंग में क्या होता है, अ न्यू स्टिमुलस इज पेयर्ड अप विद द फेमिलियर वन एंड द एनिमल इज कंडीशन टू रिस्पॉन्ड टू द न्यू स्टिमुलस. देयर आर 2 main types of conditioning: classical conditioning, also known as condition reflex type 1, operant conditioning, also known as conditioning reflex type 2. So classical कंडीशनिंग को पेवलोवियन कंडीशनिंग या रिस्पोंडेंट कंडीशनिंग भी कहते हैं. एंड दिस इज अ बिहेवियरल प्रोसीजर इन विच अ बायोलॉजिकली पोटेंट स्टिमुलस, फॉर एग्जांपल फूड, इज पेयर्ड अप विद द प्रीवियसली न्यूट्रल स्टिमुलस, फॉर एग्जांपल बेल. दिस बिहेवियर was firstly studied in detail by Ivan Pavlov, who conducted experiments on dogs. For example, Pavlov conditioned the dogs to secrete saliva on ringing of bell, which is not a normal stimulus for secretion of saliva. In his experiments, जब भी वो dog को food देता, he used to ring the bell just before giving the food the dog, ताकि जो dog हैं, he became conditioned to the secondary stimulus, that is the ringing of bell, and they started to secrete saliva as if it were the natural stimulus. Next one is operant conditioning. Operant conditioning is a type of associative learning process through which the strength of behavior is modified by reinforcement or punishment. Animals के behavior को increase करने के लिए reward use होता है, and to decrease the behavior, punishment is introduced. Operant conditioning is also known as instrumental conditioning or trial and error learning. It was first described by behaviorist B.F. Skinner and Thorndike. The examples of operant conditioning include that if you have any question and you raise your hand in the classroom, your teacher praises your polite behavior. You will be more likely to raise your hand next time if you have any question or any comment in the classroom. Similarly, if your actions result in punishment or undesirable consequences, your actions will be weakened and less likely to occur again in the future if they result in the punishment. So this was all about conditioning and its types. If you have any question, you can ask. Thank you for your time.